station of Fox Sports.
We are Fox. We are Florida.
Miami and San Diego open a three-gamer tonight. And hold on to your bases. The Marlins have swiped a big league best 102 bags. The Padres, they are rabbits as well. Second in the majors with 88. So Kip Wells, Padres starter, and Carlos Zambrano better keep them close, boys. Miami, San Diego from Marlins Park. Welcome back to baseball. The Miami Marlins, the San Diego Padres opening up a three-game weekend series. Starting on a Friday night, the Marlins trying to find a foothold, trying to get a little momentum, trying to solve some of the puzzles. The Padres get their first look at Marlins Park, and the Padres actually playing very well in the month of July. Old friends, Cameron Maven, Brian Peterson, John Baker in that shot as well. Hi, everybody. Rich Waltz along with Tommy Hutton. The dust is kind of settled for the Marlins, and now they head into the post-Hanley era. We'll see if Ozzie Guillen keeps up that aggressive style of play that we saw the first game.
Yeah, I don't know if we'll see 7 stolen bases every game, but I know it's going to be aggressive. Ozzie has guaranteed that, and I think you're right about the post-Hanley. You can't count the game the other day when Hanley was on his way out. I think it starts tonight, so it'll be interesting to see how this ball club reacts.
Now, Nate Eovaldi's going to pitch tomorrow against the Padres. Jacob Turner, only a couple starts in AAA before he joins the rotation. So the question is, who goes? If Carlos Zambrano doesn't start throwing strikes, maybe it's Carlos Zambrano.
Yeah, I think this could be an important start for Z, and he has to certainly pitch better than he pitched in Pittsburgh the last time out. 3 1/3 innings. He gave up 5 runs, but he walked 6. And in the 3 1/3, he threw 97 pitches. He's got to be around the plate. Only Edinson Volquez has walked more. Kip Wells, one of those guys that's been around. He's a journeyman, and he didn't even pitch last year, but he's in the rotation for the Padres. So an interesting matchup, but I think a very important one for Carlos Zambrano, who is 7-2 in his career against San Diego.
And a question would be, how is the Marlins lineup going to look like without Hanley Ramirez, without Omar Infante? A little different. Emilio Bonifacio in the leadoff spot, and Jose Reyes is hitting third.
And you and I talked about this. I think a lot of that had to do with the struggles of Logan Morrison. So with Reyes third, all of a sudden you have Carlos Lee, Ruggiano Lomo gets bumped down a little bit. So I think a lot of Reyes sitting in the third spot had to do with what was happening in the middle part.
And, of course, speed will be a determining factor in this one with the Padres and Miami. During the ball game, got a treat for you. Not often, not ever do you get a Major League catcher mic'd up, but we do tonight. John Buck. downtown Miami from the Goodyear Blimp, riding high above Marlins Park. As the Marlins take the field, the Padres and the Marlins get ready to go. We go out to center field. Craig Minervini. Hey, welcome back, Jeff Conine.
Bonjour.
Yeah, bonjour. Jeff is back from Paris, leaving town. And Jeff, as you get back here now, look at this Marlins lineup. It's shaken up a little bit. New names in there. Bonnie's back on top, so he'll kind of pave the way. Solano's look good too, setting it up for Reyes and Lee in that number 4 spot.
Yeah, Ozzy's going to do whatever he can to mix this lineup up and try to get it going. I mean, we saw the other night 7 steals, 3 doubles, and 1 run in the first 5 innings of that game. So with Bonifacio leading off, hopefully spark the running game, and Jose Reyes hopefully get him hot. And that also pushes Carlos Lee down in the 4th spot.
Jose told me he's never had anybody as fast as Bonnie in front of him. He's used to being the fast guy. All right, John Buck mic'd up for this game. Let's listen in.
Nice glove.
Yeah. Help.
Move it up. Help the castle ball better. Let me help you.
Oh, go ahead. Spin in there. Got that contact in today.
Your right one.
Yeah, you can tell?
Yeah, I can see it.
Talked to Don Manderling about our new kid.
Rick Honeycutt just called me. I talked to.
Yeah, he said he was going to call you.
I talked to another guy that had him in the minor leagues too.
Said he just threw last game or maybe 2 with a cutter.
The slider, yeah.
Cutter,
Yeah.
yeah.
Actually,
He said he put it more like cutter, then that way he throws it. He's not trying to add to it. He just throws it, locates it, and that's it. Because he goes, it moves plenty. So I'm excited for tomorrow. As long as I hit the ball in the air right now, my boys think I got a hit. So. Dad, you hit it way high in the sky. Good job. Thanks, bud. That's what Ozzy was yelling at me for, but thanks. You can always be a good dad. Not always going to get hits.
All right, John Buckby mic'd. We'll have more of that during the game and, of course, on our Marlins Live post-game presented by Checkers when Nader and I join you from our center field set. But up next, it's game 1 of this 3-game series. Padres played pretty well here against the Marlins of late, though the Marlins took the first 3 this year in San Diego. Game next.
Fox Sports Florida, brought to you by Toyota. Visit your local Toyota dealer today for great deals on Toyota vehicles. Toyota, moving forward. By AT&T, the nation's largest 4G network. AT&T, rethink possible. By Papa John's, get $10. Papa John's new chicken Parmesan pizza. For $2 more, get any large pizza. By Nissan, get to Nissan for the biggest savings under the sun. Nissan Summer Saving Days. Visit ChooseNissan.com. Marlins Park, Padres here for the first time and only time this year. The Padres lineup, managed, of course, by Bud Black. This is a young and rebuilding team with a couple of University of Miami Hurricanes right in the middle of it. Logan Forsythe, Jesus Guzman, Chase Headley, Carlos Quentin. Marlins didn't see him in San Diego. There they are. Yasmani Grandal, Yonder Alonso, Cameron Maben, former Marlin, Everett Cabrera, speedy shortstop. Kip Wells will hit ninth. And Carlos Zambrano delivers the first pitch. Brought to you by Pinch a Penny. Zambrano fires a fastball, strike one. This is start number 20, and a big start for Zambrano. Trying to rein it in. He walked 6. He hit 2 batters in 3 1/3 at Pittsburgh. Larry Vanover with a strong strike 2 call.
Well, and for a guy, Rich, last year who had an up and down sporadic year in his last year with the Cubs, in 145 innings, he walked 56. It's a good start. He's already walked 63 this year, but a good start, just blowing Logan Forsythe away. So, okay, here's a good fastball, outer part of the plate, and all 3 pitches were strikes.
Jesus Guzman now, then you got Chase Headley. The Padres are 13-8 in July. So they're playing well right now. They have a couple of pieces that they didn't have when the Marlins saw him. Carlos Quentin in the cleanup spot, and Yasmani Grandal behind the plate. Guzman, who homered twice on Wednesday. Zambrano, his first ball of the game, he misses outside the counts 1-1.
Good sign. We always look at that velocity early on with Carlos Zambrano. 93 miles an hour, the last fastball.
Jammed him. Reyes makes the catch. That music means only one thing: defense.
Yeah, and it means defense. Brought to you by Cleveland Clinic. There's the outfield: Lomo, Ruggiano, and Brian Peterson, Solano and Reyes, Bonifacio and Carlos Lee, and John Buck is handling Z.
Here now is Chase Headley, and the San Diego Padres certainly are not in it. They come in at 42-58. And that means a guy like Chase Headley is on some shopping lists and some wish lists for teams that need a third baseman. A solid third baseman, always has had a good on-base percentage.
Switch hitter.
Good glove man, hits in a pitcher's park half the time at Petco. Zambrano misses low and inside. This is a really odd road trip for the Padres. How do you pack for this? 3 games in San Francisco, 3 games in Miami, 4 games in Cincinnati.
San Francisco's been in the mid-60s, in the 50s at night. Of course, the Padres had a nice off day in Miami yesterday.
Roller to first. Lee corrals it, and he steps on the bag. And Zambrano, a very clean first inning. apart. You see, Jose Reyes must feel odd for him. He's standing on the second step. It's because he's not up till third. Yep, this is the lineup for Ozzie Guillen. A little change there. Bonifacio in the leadoff spot. Donovan Solano slotted second at third. Reyes hits third. Carlos Lee fourth. Justin Ruggiano fifth. Logan Morrison bumped down to sixth. Brian Peterson starting right. John Buck all mic'd up tonight. He's hitting eighth, and Carlos Zambrano hits ninth.
Well, it's a different look, but what it does, it enhances the middle part of the order a little bit with Reyes hitting third.
Kip Wells. I don't want to say from out of nowhere, but he didn't pitch anywhere last year.
Yeah, and the year before he pitched for the Long Island Ducks in the Independent League. But for years, the Marlins saw him a lot with the Pittsburgh Pirates. He was originally a first-round draft pick of the White Sox.
This is the 9th Major League uniform that he has worn. It's the 10th organization that he's pitched in. He's 35. And he misses outside to Bonifacio. And in the last, let me added it up in my head. In the last 6 years, he's been in 9 different organizations. Since 2007. Here's the 2-0 pitch. There's a strike outside corner.
You know, we talked about the change in the lineup. Certainly no change or no problem for Bonifacio to hit the leadoff spot.
No, not at all. Especially with his speed. 26 stolen bases. Bonifacio with an on-base percentage at .353, and he swings and misses. The scouting report on Wells is that he's throwing his two-seamer a lot more than he was when he was in the big leagues 3 years ago. And you saw that good changeup that he buried in the dirt. He is 1-3. This is start number 6. Slow tapper. Cabrera got lots of quicks. His throw is high, and Bonifacio beats it.
Well, Everett Cabrera does have lots of quicks, and he tried to really rush that. He knew that he had to get rid of it and make a perfect throw to get Bonifacio. Because he was so quick, the throw pulled the first baseman, Yonder Alonso, off the bag. It almost looks like it's going to be bang, bang, even if the throw is there. So that could be a base hit. It is.
So an infield hit for Bonifacio. Gentlemen, start your engines. Solano takes a strike. Solano now in the 2 spot, and you usually say it's about a veteran hitter, but Solano has shown the patience and the ability to hit in the 2 spot that normally is reserved for veterans. He'll take pitches when runners are going. He'll spray the ball to the right side. Goes after the fastball and fouls it out of play. Now it's 0-2. Miami has stolen more bases than anybody in baseball. 102. The Padres are second on that list. And of course the Fish making a little history with their 7 stolen bases in the first 5 innings and getting only 1 run out of it last time out against Atlanta. Delayed steal's coming, and Bonifacio is out. Logan Forsythe applies the tag.
But I think he was even late in covering, but he got there just in time.
It's a nice throw by Grandal.
Perfect throw. The reports we were given on Grandal, we know he can hit, but he's done a really nice job behind the plate, calling games, throwing. So he's throwing to the bag before Forsythe even got there. A perfect throw and tag. It's one of the few times Bonifacio's been thrown out on that delayed steal.
Only the 3rd time he's been thrown out all year. Up the end of the bat, and Maben over to make the catch. And Miami's first inning with a couple of quick outs. Defensively, here come the Padres.
Well, we'll check them out. Brought to you by Cleveland Clinic with Carlos Quentin. Lots of territory for Maben to cover in center. Jesus Guzman in right. Headley, Cabrera, Logan Forsythe, Yonder Alonso, and Yasmani Grandal behind the plate. I think that's always one of the big things for a young catcher is to, all right, he's here because he can hit. But, okay, how can he handle a pitching staff? How does he call a game? And how's his arm? And so far the reports have been real good on Grandal.
Grandal and Alonso both going from the Reds organization to the Padres in the Matt Latos deal. The irony there is all three are South Florida guys. Alonso a couple years older than Grandal. Reyes pulls one foul. Dynamics of Reyes in the 3-hole. How does that change the lineup? How does that change Reyes? I know Reyes said it won't change his approach, but it certainly on the surface changes the lineup.
Yeah, it does. I mean, he's so used to it. It's only the 21st time he's hit third. 2010 with the Mets, he hit third 20 times. So he's done it before. And really, if you get by the first inning,
everybody turns into a leadoff hitter eventually.
Yeah, it all turns around. But more importantly, I think because of the struggles of Logan Morrison, who's been hitting fourth a lot, it moves him down a little bit and strengthens the middle part of the order.
2-2 misses outside, and the count 3-2. Carlos Lee down into the cleanup spot, and Justin Ruggiano behind him hitting fifth.
It's a ball club, the Padres, that the Marlins swept the 3-game series in San Diego.
That must have been May.
I think it was.
It was.
Those were better times, Rich.
May 4th through the 6th. There's Bud Black. And Reyes draws a walk. With a 2-out walk, here comes Carlos Lee up. We'll see if Reyes is motoring. Coventry Healthcare brings you the Sky Report on Kip Wells.
Yeah, he was in independent ball 2 years ago. Amazing. Average stuff. He's not overpowering, and you could put that tag journeyman alongside his name. In 05 with Pittsburgh, he was 8-18. In 07, he was 7-17 with the Pirates.
But he must be doing something right. You don't pitch on 9 major league teams unless you've got skills and you have value.
He's been that guy who's, okay, he's going to give us some starts. He can give us a few innings. A number 5 starter.
Marlins had a guy like that, Brian Moeller, for a couple of seasons.
Out of Baylor University is Kip Wells.
Breaking ball for a strike. I think Lee thought Reyes was running, and so did Wells. You saw after he delivered the pitch, Wells kind of bent over like the throw was coming past him, and Lee may have taken that pitch thinking Reyes, who looked like he was running, he started towards second but then stopped. Nice stop by Grandal.
Well, scoring runs is where the Marlins are going to have to step things up a little bit. They've scored just 13 runs in their last 8 games. They're 1-7 during that stretch.
The math doesn't lie, and it's pretty simple. Reyes is running. Lee is swinging, and he pops it up out into shallow right. Forsythe was over to cover the bag, and he has to wander back out there to make the play. Scoreless into the second. Everything that Goodyear has learned making tires that go the distance inspires what they roll into yours. Goodyear, more driven. Even from high above Marlins Park, high definition brought to you by H.H. Gregg. Inside Marlins Park, you've got Carlos Quentin, Yasmani Grandal, and Yonder Alonso. And Zambrano, who looked sharp in the first inning. He went 1-2-3 through the Padres. Faces Carlos Quentin.
Certainly no stranger to Ozzie Guillen.
A stranger to the Marlins, though. He was not healthy when the Marlins came through San Diego.
Yeah, he had knee surgery.
Flips that one into shallow right center. Out for it is Bonifacio. And he makes the play. Here comes Grandal. Coors Light watch party's coming up on Tuesday at Catch of the Day Seafood Bar and Grill at the Dolphin Mall. Marlins and Braves at 7:10. You can win prizes. You can beat, I want to say meet Billy and the Energy Team. Take advantage of specials on Coors Light and aluminum pints during the game. You don't want to beat Billy.
Hey, maybe in a little game of darts or something.
Right. You want to meet him first.
Yeah.
Grandal.
Don't take him on in beer pong.
No. That nose usually is, the bill is usually a big advantage. So Grandal, who entered the big leagues in fine fashion. This is one of the highly touted prospects in the game that has finally arrived. Flares that one out to left. Morrison looking up, makes the catch. And so you go from Yasmani Grandal to Yonder Alonso.
So you go from, let's see, Miami Springs High School to Coral Gables High School.
That's right. And both University of Miami guys. And both guys, as they walked out into Marlins Park, took a long look around with wide eyes. And then proceeded to go behind the cage, where behind home plate there was a large group of Padre fans and a large group of family and friends you would expect from both Grandal and Alonso. Zambrano's been around the plate and he's getting a lot of quick outs. That's a 7-pitch inning. He's thrown only 18 in his first 2.
Español es presentado en SAP por Coventry Healthcare of Florida.
Marlins Park, Padres Marlins tonight. Kip Wells got some help from Yasmani Grandal, who threw out Emilio Bonifacio trying to steal. Justin Ruggiano, Logan Morrison, and Brian Peterson. All here in the bottom of the second inning. Ruggiano's season, look at the on-base percentage, .430 with a .367 average. I know you have, and I have, last couple of days, been on a lot of radio talk shows wanting to know what the heck's going on with the Marlins. And I was asked the question, what do the Marlins have to play for the next 2 months? And one of the things I said is there are guys that have a lot to prove. I think Justin Ruggiano wants to prove that his first 2 months in the big leagues are no fluke, that he can produce, that he can be an everyday player in the big leagues. Tico, the People's Gas, brings you the standings. The Nationals just won't lose a game right now. 20 over.
They just keep getting base hits, winning big. They did so last night, getting great pitching. They got 7 shutout innings from Edwin Jackson last night. And the Phillies have won 4 straight.
Yeah, the Marlins are a half game out of last place.
I think when you get in this situation, Rich, to continue on that train of thought, what do you do from this point on? All right, you could go each individual. What do you do if you're Logan Morrison? You tell yourself you're not a .234 hitter, and you try to make some adjustments, put things together for the last couple of months.
Morrison sprays a ground ball to short. Cabrera throws him out.
What do you do if you're John Buck? You tell yourself you're not a .174 hitter. Try to bring things up a little bit. Donovan Solano, what do? You want to continue to show that you can help a ball club in all kinds of different ways. So you could go up and down the lineup and really find things that will motivate you the rest of the year.
I think Brian Peterson is in that spot. He's going to be seeing more time in the outfield.
Yes.
Peterson getting the start. And Petey takes a fastball that misses outside. One 0 pitch. A changeup from Wells. So everybody's got a little something to prove. Everybody's got something to play for.
Carlos Zambrano.
Amen. For 2 reasons. Number one, to try to keep his spot in the rotation with 2 young pitchers about to join the rotation, one tomorrow night, Nate Eovaldi. And number 2, who knows, maybe someone else out there might want a Carlos Zambrano. Peterson's drive is caught by Maben, who routinely makes plays like this against the Marlins, or at least he has over the last season and a half. Forces Network, broadcasting the U.S. Armed Forces, serving in 175 countries and aboard ships at sea, watching around the world in Iraq, Germany, Italy, Southwest Asia, South Korea, and Japan. Always an honor to be on. Now, we have something to prove as well for the next 2 months. And one of those things is how much can we eat? Sir Pizza.
Is that one yours or mine?
Sir Pizza is you can have that one. Sir
Okay.
Pizza is the official pizza in Marlins Park, and they've sent up some pizza for us. There you go. Looks good. And they're also going to be a sponsor of the Marlins on Fox Sports Florida. So it's good karma.
Oh, yeah.
And it's good pizza. And it's high time we get to the third inning. Or actually the third inning. And it's by contract Cameron Maben who has to lead it off because he made that great play. So thanks to the folks at Sir Pizza. Maben has been playing with a sore wrist. And of course, Cameron signing a long-term deal with the Padres in the offseason, coming off the year that he had last year in which he hit .264, stole 40 bases, and that is strike 3. I'll tell you what, this is as sharp as Zambrano has looked in a while. Tommy can't talk because he's eating pizza.
Just trying to check out this last pitch, which was a great pitch. He's had excellent control, and that's one of the things we talked about. 63 walks coming in this game. 6 walks his last time out in Pittsburgh.
Everett Cabrera. Now, Cabrera's been a guy that's bounced up and down from AAA to the big leagues. He has a ton of speed. And the biggest challenge for Cabrera is, can he hit enough? Because if they can get him on base, he can get to second.
Hey, he's not been thrown out this year.
You see his career numbers in this, his 4th season in which he's been to the big leagues. Zambrano throws a strike and the count's 3-1. Cabrera is Nicaraguan.
It's an area where the Padres, Rich, have really improved.
That's a fair ball, and it trickles into the corner. Cabrera racing to second. Morrison picks it up, and Everett Cabrera has himself a double.
And we're talking about up the middle at the short and second for the Padres. This nice hitting by Cabrera, a switch hitter. Just reaches out and touches it down the left field line. But when we were in San Diego, we saw Jason Bartlett and Orlando Hudson. And Bud Black told you and I that one of the big differences in this ball club, the Padres, where they've had improvement, is when they made the switch with Cabrera and then at second base using Logan Forsythe as well.
A little more energy with those two. Wells is a good hitting pitcher. And the Texan rolls it out to Reyes, who throws him out to first. And here comes Logan Forsythe. This copyrighted telecast presented by the authority of the Miami Marlins may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. Accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Miami Marlins.
Carlos Zambrano tonight, Rich, 7 out of 9 in throwing first pitch strikes. 8 out of 10.
Not enough room for Lee as that one is up and over. The Angels have acquired Zach Greinke. Greinke is headed to the American League West for some Double-A pitchers. A young shortstop, Gene Segura. At least that's the reports coming over. John Morosi and Ken Rosenthal for Fox Sports reporting that.
Well, there have been a lot of teams linked in trying to acquire Zach Greinke.
Well, the Texas Rangers are on the clock, I guess, so to speak, because the Rangers are still in the market for a starting pitcher.
Yeah, they were one of those teams interested in Greinke.
Some have speculated that Josh Johnson is in their sights. All the reports today indicate that the Marlins' asking price for Johnson is extremely high, as in a team's top 3 prospects. And most baseball writers speculating and insiders speculating that that price is probably too high and that Johnson will remain a Marlin. Be tough to get a, I mean, it's much like the haul that Texas got in the Mark Teixeira trade with Atlanta. Swing and a miss, and Zambrano strikes out Forsythe. Cabrera is left at third. We're going to the bottom of the third, scoreless.
To you after we win this game.
Hey, how you, bud?
What do you know?
Still here?
I don't know how much longer.
Hey, do you think Baker's just wearing that sweatshirt because he can, just to flaunt it, that we can't wear one? He has long hair and he's ugly.
Oh, that's a show. You can't do that. The Brotherhood of Catchers, I think that's a... Well, that's John Buck all mic'd up. John Baker, our good friend.
Yeah, it was good to see Bake. Good to see Mark Kotze.
Bake is going to make a special guest appearance on Marlins television tomorrow night, and it's a surprise for everybody. But you don't want to miss tomorrow night because John Baker, all I'll say is he knows his mixed martial arts. And he took the sweatshirt off, so take that, John Buck. John Buck, Carlos Zambrano, Emilio Bonifacio against Kip Wells. Someone going to try to score a run here. Neither the Padres or the Marlins have done so for 2.5 innings. Our thanks to John Buck for wearing a microphone during a ball game. You don't often get players, you don't often get a chance to hear players mic'd up while the game is on. Buck fouls it back for the franchise, the Showtime series. Earlier this season, Carlos Zambrano wore a mic during a start, and that was absolutely fascinating to hear him reminding himself to relax, to calm down.
That was pretty unprecedented to have a pitcher mic'd up.
Yes, very much so, especially Zambrano. I mean, if you think about it, swing and a miss by Buck, especially coming off of last year. If you were to pick all major league pitchers and say, boy, who would you like to mic up? Zambrano being near the top of the list because of all the zany stuff that would go on during his start. Tomorrow night, Nate Eovaldi makes his Miami Marlins debut. Ross Ohlendorf will be pitching for the Padres. Zambrano with the count 0-1. Carlos's one home run came in Philly. Let's check in with Craig Minervini. Craig?
Hey, Rich, thanks very much. You mentioned the team's not scoring. It has been a problem for the two clubs, especially with this old stat that's going to drive people nuts unless they change in the next 2 months. That's the runners in scoring position number, and it's not just a Marlins problem. In fact, in San Diego, it's been an even bigger issue this year. Since the Marlins came into the major leagues in 1993, no team has had a worse runners in scoring position number than these Padres at 214. That's 20 years. The Marlins are right in the same company, though, this year. By far their worst ever, 223. Fifth overall with 2 outs. The Padres runners in scoring position 169. That is also the worst in 20 years. The Marlins are about the 10th worst now, just under 200. But those are numbers that obviously have to change if both of these teams are going to win more. Though, give the Padres credit because they've won quite a bit in their last 40 games, well over 500.
Well, here's what we've got to do. We've got to talk to John Baker about that because in his career, Baker is hitting .310 with runners in scoring position.
So he would tell us he's not been a part of that. He's not contributed to that.
That's right. He would probably march into Bud Black's office and say, hey, look, here's the media guide. See, look, .310 career with runners in scoring position.
He's doing a nice job with the Padres this year. Backing up, and I'm sure knowing John Baker helping out the youngster Grandal as well.
Top of the order, Bonifacio, and if you have joined us, this is the top of the order. Bonifacio, Solano, Reyes slotted in the 1, 2, 3 spots tonight. So far it hasn't mattered for Kip Wells. First time through he's given up an infield hit. That was to Bonifacio, who was then caught stealing. He walked Reyes, but he died on base when Carlos Lee popped out to end the first.
You know, the thing about Kip Wells, we've told you how he was in independent ball a couple of years ago, didn't pitch last year. He's with his 9th team. However, he's 5-3 with a 2.39 ERA in his 10 games, 9 starts against the Marlins. So it's a team he's always pitched well against.
You saw that note that said plainly signed as a free agent. That's the 8th time he's been signed as a free agent. And that did not include the time he signed with the Long Island Ducks.
Long Island Ducks, yeah.
In the dirt. Grandal smothers it.
I mean, the Marlins have seen him. He's been with the White Sox, but in the National League, the Marlins have seen him with Pittsburgh, St. Louis, the Rockies, the Nationals, the Reds.
The only organization that he signed with that he didn't get to the big leagues with, Arizona. He's run the count to 3-2 on Bonifacio with Solano on deck. Marlins playing the Padres 3 times and then out on the road. In fact, the month of August, not a lot of home games for the Marlins at all. And down goes Bonifacio. Swings and misses. Kip Wells, a couple of strikeouts in the 3rd. Making tires that go the distance inspires what they roll into yours. Goodyear, more driven. Downtown Miami, live shot from the Goodyear Blimp. Cleveland Clinic 4th. Not much going on right now. Scoreless ball game. A hit apiece. Carlos Zambrano has looked as sharp as we have seen him in some time. Jesus Guzman goes after the first pitch, pops it up. Bonifacio ran right behind Lee, who heard him coming and just gave way. Zambrano has thrown a total of 32 pitches, 24 of them strikes. His ball strike ratio is incredible considering the control problems he's had his last month.
Yeah, I think you certainly have to take that into consideration. The way he pitched in Pittsburgh, throwing 97 pitches in 3 1/3 innings and walking 6. I mean, this is a totally different Zambrano. I think his velocity is much better tonight, too.
And even the start before that, in a ball game in which he won, it was a high wire act, that win against Washington, because he walked 4. Remember, he got 4 double plays, and 2 of them were those line drive, could have been multiple run hit jobs that was speared by an infielder and turned into a double play. That night he would give up 3 runs in 6 innings and win it 5-3. Headley, his 5th year with the Padres, flips that one out to Logan Morrison in left. Morrison makes the catch. And up comes Carlos Quinton. It's the 4th. That means the phone will come tumbling across. There it is. Let's flip it. Olympic baseball. It's opening ceremony night tonight. Which member of the 1988 USA gold medal winners is now a Major League Baseball manager?
I think I know that one. I'll hold back.
1988. Mike Matheny.
Left-handed hitter.
And he's a Major League manager now.
Mm-hmm.
Quentin. I don't think I've ever seen a hitter on a check swing where he wasn't called for a swing ask for an appeal. Did you see Quentin point down to first base? The home plate umpire, Larry Vanover, didn't say he went.
Yeah, he can't believe it either.
Dan Bellino's gone like, what do you mean?
What's he doing?
Here's the 2-0 pitch.
Well, Quentin's a Stanford guy. So
he overthought the.
He overthought. Yeah.
Watch this. See? Hey, look.
No, check.
Ask him.
Go
ask
ahead
him.
and check. I didn't swing.
It's like, yeah, ask him again. Vanover never called a strike. Never said he swung. He really would have been mad if Bellino said, yeah, you went.
Carlos Quentin, by the way, we told you Ozzie Guillen's certainly familiar with him. His 4-year average with the White Sox, 27 home runs and 80 RBIs. So he was a run producer for Ozzie Guillen.
Did Carlos Quentin play for an organization that is linked to our trivia answer?
Yes.
All right. Cholula Hot Sauce Spotlight Player.
It's like 20 questions you get.
That's the only one I need.
It's the only one you need. You know now. Hey, by the way, Grandal was certainly putting up numbers as you look at the Cholula Hot Sauce Spotlight. He was hitting .335 in AAA.
Family came from Cuba when he was 10. In fact, both Grandal and Alonso were born in Cuba. BB&T brings you Fox Tracks. And it's 2-1. You can see that Zambrano's been around the strike zone to Grandal. Quinton's the runner at first. Zambrano with a changeup that misses down low. So Zach Greinke is now an Angel.
So they can slot him in behind Jared Weaver. Not too bad of a 1-2 punch. C.J. Wilson. Right now, the Angels in that American League West are still 5 games behind Texas. But right in the mix in that wild card.
(3-2) with Quinton running. It's fouled back to the screen.
Oakland just 5.5 out. So they're only a half game behind the Angels.
Oakland is an incredible story this year, with a team that all of a sudden has hit a ton of home runs, has ridden that power to a half game behind the Angels, as you pointed out. Zambrano misses. He tried to catch that outside corner against Grandal. And so all the great control that Zambrano had. Pitch 7, you can see it's outside.
Yeah, he just kind of left that breaking ball. He tried to throw the breaking pitch, but it stayed off the plate. Now he has to regroup and get back in that same release point he had in the first 3 innings. Alonso had a nice series against the Marlins in San Diego. He was 6 for 15 in that series.
Alonso a couple years older than Grandal. Edinson Volquez also coming over in that trade. Matt Latos, the top of the rotation guy that the Reds coveted and they got. Drives that ball to the left. Pretty well hit. Back goes Morrison at the track. He reaches up and makes the catch. So Zambrano strands the 2 walks, and this ball game is still scoreless in Miami. By Sagicor. Plan a bright financial future today at SagicorLifeUSA.com. By Bennett Auto Supply. Our prices bring you in and our people bring you back. By 5-Hour Energy. 5-Hour Energy fixes tired fast. Rich Waltz along with Tommy Hutton. Craig Minervini with us as well. And Tommy Hutton, the Fox Sports Fantasy Auction is coming up, and this year it's going to be even better than ever, because this year we will be we'll have that Tommy Hutton golf package, the Goodyear blimp ride. You can have a big party on a Royal Caribbean boat, a trip to New York. But the party and the dinner itself will be out at the Clevelander. Open bar.
So we're doing the game from out there, right?
Open bar.
Right?
Yes. And a Clevelander style buffet as well. So there you go. Marlins.com/fantasy auction. And you can order your tickets online. Marlins.com/fantasy auction. So we'll be out there if you're going to attend. 0-1 pitch to Solano. Up the middle, into center field. Donovan Solano's got a base hit to lead off the fourth. Marlins.com/fantasy auction. Let's answer some trivia.
Let's just say this guy has taken over Ozzy's old office.
And he got a ceremonial first noogie from Nolan Ryan when he faced the Texas Rangers. Robin Ventura.
Yeah.
It was in the Seoul Olympics. So $150, Tommy, is the price of the ticket. And you may ask, what do you get for that? Liner into right, you get
an extra base hit by Jose Reyes.
And you get to see if Solano can score. Donovan Solano coming in. Reyes on his way to third, and he's got a triple. And it's 1-0. How about that?
I like the amenities of that package. An extra base hit by Reyes, a triple,
and an open bar.
And the first run of the game. So got started by Donovan Solano. Jose Reyes sitting in the number 3 spot tonight. He responds. Once this ball gets into that right field corner, he's at third base all the way, and Solano scores easily.
Seven triples for Reyes. And now he's 90 feet away. And with nobody out, you've got Carlos Lee up there. Let's see if he can drive this run home.
That's a 14-game hitting streak for Reyes. That hit streak just continues.
See, I think if I keep dropping details of the dinner in, the Marlins will just keep hitting. That one foul back and out of play. So we'll be in the Clevelander. There'll be music. There'll be dancing. And we'll be out there calling the game
against the Phillies.
And so for $150, it's open bar. You can drink all you want. The meal is a all-you-can-eat buffet by the Clevelander. So Clevelander providing the food and the drink. We'll provide the commentary. And the bidding for Tommy jumping in the pool is already opening.
So not an open bar for us.
No, open bar for us too, but it wouldn't be wise. We're going to be right by the 386 sign calling the game. If you want to come as a couple, if you've got a friend that wants to come, $275. Bouncer up the middle. Backhanded there. Four-side throw, not in time. Reyes scores.
Not too many infield hits for Carlos Lee, but just trying to make contact. The infield was back. That's all he was doing. With Reyes at third base, he was trying to hit a ground ball somewhere to get the run in. He got the run in and got himself an infield hit. This with 2 strikes, just makes contact and beats it out. The Marlins would like to see El Caballo start producing a little bit.
Here's Ruggiano.
He came into the game, Rich, in his 17 games with the Marlins, hitting below 200. So he'd like to get on a little bit of a streak, and that part alone would help the offense.
Ruggiano swings and misses. I do know on that night, Tommy, on August 13th, the night of the auction, camera 12 will be in full throttle mode.
Camera 12 is going to be loaded and reloaded.
And if you want to bring your bathing suit and you want to swim that night, you can do that as well.
No cannonballs, though, if you get too close to us.
See, I'm telling you, we are going to open the bidding for Tommy Hutton jumping in the pool. It's all for a good cause, Tommy. It's all for the kids. Just remember that. Swing and a miss. Ruggiano strikes out. So the first out of the fourth, a 2-run fourth so far for Miami. Corona Light wants you to find your beach this summer with the Marlins. Corona Light offering 31 lucky Marlin fans the chance to win 4 tickets and a $100 Marlins merchandise gift card. Visit your local participating Navarro pharmacy and look for the Corona Light display. For details on how to enter and win, relax responsibly. Here's Morrison now.
I had a little addendum to the part of the AT&T trivia. That 1988 Olympic team that Robin Ventura was a part of, so was a former Marlin, Brett Barbery, in the 93-94 season, a Marlin, and was also a part of that Olympic team.
Ball in the dirt. Lee hustling, safe. I know that's a wild pitch, but for a guy like Carlos Lee, I think he should get a stolen base.
Yeah, what's gotten into Carlos Lee? Well, he got a good jump. That's what. He picked this ball up right away. He saw that Grandal had a little bit of trouble finding it, and he just got a good jump.
There's a story going around about Carlos Lee the other day that he was at first base and he was chatting up the first base umpire, and they were talking about the strike zone the next day. And now this is just hearsay, but it's a good story. Anyways,
that's what we're here for.
Lee was telling the umpire, "Hey, you know, how you doing? Hey, make sure tomorrow your strike zone is big on me." And the umpire looked at him and said, "Carlos." And Lee was not playing first base. He was at first base at the time. He said, "Carlos, if you steal second base, you'll get a big strike zone tomorrow. Because I don't think you've stolen a base in 5 years." Ground ball from Morrison. And Forsythe flips it over to first. And so what did Lee do? He stole second base.
He knows the importance of a favorable strike zone.
Here comes Peterson now. By the way, Tommy, one of the stories, this was just made for Twitter, along with the Angels acquiring Zach Greinke tonight. The fact that Wally, the Green Monster, was missing in Boston for about an hour this afternoon. The Red Sox actually called the Boston Police Department.
Wow, a big series too against the Yankees. It's in New York.
2:24. The call came in that Wally the Green Monster, the costume had been stolen. A suspect was seen in the area of Boylston and Dartmouth in Boston, about a mile from Fenway Park. But at 3:30, Boston police sent out the call, "Stand down." Apparently it was an employee who was taking the costume and forgot to tell his bosses that he was taking the costume for an unauthorized visit.
Maybe a birthday party or something.
Let's hope it was an above the boards appearance.
You could go in all kinds of directions with that one.
Yes, you could. That's a strike. And
directions that I don't want to go in right now.
That was a called strike, and it's 2-1. The team later tweeted a photo of Wally standing in front of the Green Monster with the scoreboard behind him reading, "I'm back." Carlos Lee is at third. Peterson stands in with a count 3-1.
Just hope that never happens to Billy.
Went after a changeup, and it's 3-2.
Yeah, it's hard to tell. Wells doesn't throw real hard, so when you see 85, it's kind of a cutter. It's kind of a BP fastball. Because it's not really enough off his fastball to be considered a changeup. But it's been effective.
Up the middle, backhanded by Forsythe, and he throws to first in time. 2-0 Marlins. Back after this sports injury prevention message from Cleveland Clinic, Florida.
Tomorrow night, the Marlins get their first look at Nathan Eovaldi, the righty picked up for the Dodgers. He got his first look at Marlins Park earlier today.
No, I like it a lot. I'm excited. It's a beautiful stadium. I mean, it was definitely a surprise to me. Everything that I had heard was like I was untradeable and stuff, and they wanted to keep me, so it was definitely a surprise. Today was, real helpful, being able to, dress out and, participate with the team, so, I mean, I'm feeling a lot more comfortable now.
And Eovaldi, guys, did describe this day, which is normal, a little sad in that he left a team that he has only known in the major leagues, but also excited about the opportunity. I asked about the dimensions here. He said he loves it, Pitchers Park, with the deep walls. And he was also been described by the Dodgers assistant general manager, Logan White, as having the best makeup of anybody Logan's ever signed. And he said, and that includes Clayton Kershaw. He said, amazing makeup, and that's a big quality for a pitcher. Very poised guy. And he said, I'm not nervous at all. We'll see you tomorrow, guys.
Thank you, Craig. That continues the discussion of what do the Marlins have to prove over the next couple of months. And you know that a guy like Eovaldi wants to prove that he belongs in a big league rotation. By all accounts, Jacob Turner is going to be here within a couple of weeks. At least that's the plan. And he would like to prove that he belongs in a major league rotation. It's the most precious commodity on the market, and that is frontline young starting pitching. Maben taps it to third. Solano whips it across in time. And Zambrano has the first out of the fifth inning. Time for the Just for Men Auto Stop Foolproof Stats. Justin Ruggiano, since the 27th, has hit .380 with a lot of big numbers. Doubles, homers, stolen bases. Marlins are counting on Ruggiano. You can count on Just for Men Auto Stop for foolproof results.
At the beginning of the year, Nate Eovaldi was rated the Dodgers' #3 prospect in their organization. So you're right. Now he's going to get an opportunity every fifth day. A lot of pitching needed, too, with the Marlins as you look into August. A couple of doubleheaders coming up. One on this next road trip and then one in Arizona.
Center field. Ruggiano trots in and makes the catch. And Zambrano will face the pitcher, Kip Wells. So Greinke has been traded.
I saw where I was reading today a little bump in the road, so it doesn't look like this guy will be traded now for Matt Garza. He's got some elbow issues or some shoulder issues, and so tough to trade a guy when he has shoulder issues.
That leaves what, Ryan Dempster out there? The Braves trying to acquire. The Braves were certainly in that Greinke hunt. The Rangers. Are the Phillies going to trade Cliff Lee now that they've signed Hamels?
You just haven't heard that much. I've not read that as much as I thought I would. I'm still not ruling out Dempster to the Braves either. Or he could be going to the Dodgers.
Wells fouls it back. Kip Wells.
You talked about Kip Wells, a pretty good hitter back in 02, a long time ago, when he was pitching for Pittsburgh. Not many pitchers have done this. He had 2 hits in 1 inning.
Four home runs in his career, 10 doubles, a triple. Zambrano finishes him, and we're halfway through in Miami tonight. Marlins on top 2-0. fifth. John Buck all mic'd up. Some good stuff coming out of the Marlins catcher.
What, Big Z? Good I be, Jose? Still hits like normal. That'll be.
How you doing, bud?
Good, yourself? Good.
Hard, hard.
That's fun to hear.
That's some good sounds of the game there.
And John Buck will lead it off with Carlos Zambrano and Emilio Bonifacio. Marlins getting a couple of runs in the fourth. Donovan Solano opened with a single. Reyes an RBI triple. And Carlos Lee an RBI infield single.
Isn't it amazing, Rich, how Donovan Solano seems to always find his way in making something happen.
He's always in the middle of stuff, and it's usually very, very positive stuff. Atlanta's hosting the Phillies tonight. Cole Hamels with a new contract is on the mound, and Atlanta has a 2-1 lead at the bottom of the third.
Of course, Philly fans will expect him to go 150-0 after signing that contract.
Nationals are in Milwaukee, where they are scoreless going into the top of the second. Mets in Arizona tonight. Marlins will be on that west swing, not this upcoming road trip, but the road trip after that. The Marlins' next two road trips are long. 3 city stops for both trips. Atlanta, Washington, D.C., and New York for the next trip. 1-1 pitch. Buck, it's in the hole. Cabrera had him played there. High throw, and he airmails it. Look out. Buck is going to end up at second base. That ball went out of play. And the Marlins are going to have their leadoff runner aboard at second base. And Everett Cabrera had plenty of time.
Yeah, he was positioned properly. He was in the hole, had time. It's his 5th error of the year. He's actually played pretty solid defensively. Yeah, you just don't get set right. You get the footwork, and it just takes a little bit. And because he threw it away so badly, John Buck's at second base.
All right, let's see if Zambrano bunts him over. Alonso coming hard from first. And Zambrano fouls it off.
You know, think about the Padres. They're at the bottom of the pile in defense. I mean, they've got some things that have gone okay for them lately, but they've made 75 errors. That actually ties them with San Francisco for last.
Zambrano into left field. That's a base hit. Buck to third. He'll stop there. And that, my friends, is a hit with a runner in scoring position. Though it doesn't score the run, Zambrano with a base hit.
A little two-seamer away. Buck has to hold his ground to make sure the ball gets through the infield into the outfield. And back to the top of the order, and the Marlins are in business.
Now Bonifacio, who's a tough man to double. Infield hit and a strikeout. Padre infield is actually halfway up the middle. So if there's a roller and they see Buck coming home, you never know. They may come home.
Well, with a runner at third that doesn't have a lot of speed, you don't have to come all the way in. You can cheat a little bit, maybe take a step or two back. Bud Black in his 6th year as the Padre manager. That's amazing. That's gone by fast, hasn't it?
2010 manager of the year. Bonifacio, runner comes home, throw comes home. And Buck in a rundown. Headed to the plate, no one's there. It's Wells now who tags out Buck, and hustling all the way to third is Zambrano. So that actually works out for the Marlins in that, yeah, Buck is out, but they're back at first and third with one out. Good hustle by Zambrano and Buck to stay in the rundown.
Yeah, the fact that he was able to stay in it long enough and all of a sudden get the pitcher involved. It was the pitcher, Kip Wells, making the tag. 3-2-5-1. But it allowed everybody to move up, so really no harm with Zambrano going all the way to third.
But now, scoring the run, a little more challenging. Now the infield up the middle is back for a double play. And so Solano, a good bunter.
No, Bonifacio is going to be taken off pretty soon, too.
Lots of things can happen here. Wells misses, and it's 1-0. Solano single in the fourth. He flied out in the first. That's the one thing that Bonifacio has to be aware of. Zambrano. Bonifacio was caught stealing in the first. It was a delayed steal attempt. He's running on this pitch. Solano hits it hard to third. Zambrano draws attention, but has to hold third while Solano is thrown out. And so now the Marlins have second and third, but the Padres have 2 outs. This series concludes on a family Sunday. Marlins and Padres at 1:10. And you can purchase tickets in advance for Bark at the Park. All $10 dog tickets benefit the Humane Society. And kids get a Billy the Marlin swimming tube, courtesy of Sir Pizza. You can run the bases after the game in the Diamond Dash. Again, our thanks to Sir Pizza tonight. Now Reyes, who delivered an RBI triple. And a curveball from Wells is up high.
This, if Reyes doesn't get something here, this is going to be one of those innings we saw and have seen way too many of. One of those innings that starts out well and then just kind of fizzles.
Two and 0, 71 pitches already for Wells. And they're just going to walk him and pitch to Carlos Lee, which is a bit interesting. Although
yeah, that's very interesting.
Reyes trots down to first, and here comes Carlos Lee. The Padres' road grays have changed. Remember, their road uniforms for a time were kind of a sea cliff color.
Now they're basically gray.
Yeah, back to the traditional gray. I think the old look was more to the cliffs north of San Diego. You see that color a lot around Petco Park.
Kind of up in La Jolla.
There you go.
Carlos Lee has seen Wells a lot over the years. Carlos Lee is now 7 for 28 in his career against Kip Wells. We saw Grand Slam number 17.
That's right. He is up among the all-timers in Grand Slams. Lee, a sharp ground ball. It hops up. Headley has it, flips to second. And it is one of those innings. The Marlins had an opportunity in a big one, and it slips by him.
en español es presentado en SAP por Toyota.
Cookie and Raul join us now. Gentlemen, how are we tonight? Everything good? I think if they could hear us, they would say,
There we go.
Hi, Richie.
Oh, there they
What's
go.
up, Rich? What's up, Tommy?
Oh, okay. Now you guys can hear us. Hey, Cookie, what do you think of Reyes sitting in the third spot? How do you like that?
Well, I don't know. It's something that us is trying to get everybody up at the front of the lineup, trying to get some speed in there and maybe a contact hitter in the third spot like Reyes, and tonight paid off with that double down the line or triple down the line is drawing a run. But before they have tried that with the Mets, but it's a different ball club right now that we have, and Hoss is trying to do things to really get things going and moving.
Good to see Zambrano throwing the ball much better than he did last couple of times too.
No question about it. And, that's all he has to do is throw strikes. We got a good defense behind him. Use the strike zone. Don't try to be too cute in the corners and get ahead. And he's doing that right now tonight.
Logan Forsythe leading it off. And it's going to be interesting to see what type of personality, Cookie, Raul, the Marlins take now that the dust has settled on the two big trades.
I think the hope is, guys, that in spite of losing some of the talent that they've lost, maybe this, and nothing against the players that have left, absolutely not, but maybe some addition by subtraction where everybody will come closer together and as a unit play better. We've seen some teams in the past where that has occurred.
Jesus Guzman on deck. To left, Morrison got turned around and now can't find the ball. And off the base of the wall it goes, racing to second, and holding there is Logan Forsythe. All right, guys, have a good show tonight.
Okay, Richie. All right, Tommy.
You too, guys.
That's one of those balls hit over your head, and Morrison wasn't quite sure which shoulder to.
Yeah, directly over your head. This is the hardest hit ball the Padres have had tonight. And he gets turned around and right at the base of the fence. Have to like the way Forsythe was running the bases. He was thinking three, but once he saw Logan get that ball and get it in quickly, he stayed at second base.
All right, now the Padres have an opportunity. They had a one-out double in the third, a pair of two-out walks in the fourth, but Zambrano pitched around and got out of both of those innings without giving up a run. Guzman fouls that one off. Guzman 28. He's Venezuelan. Guy that put up enormous numbers in the minor leagues. Seattle, Oakland, San Francisco organizations. Zambrano's fastball is up and in. Taking a peek at the Tigers, they trail Toronto 5-2. Omar Infante is in the 9 spot. He's 0 for 2 in that ball game.
I think Anibal Sanchez will pitch tomorrow. I think Rick Porcello is pitching tonight for the Tigers. I think Sanchez will get his Detroit debut tomorrow.
Yes, you are correct, sir. In Toronto at 107. Up the middle, knocked down. Bonifacio can't handle it. It's going to be an E4.
Well, all of a sudden, you saw Guzman, too, really trying to hit the ball the other way. And good things come about when you do that. And a ball, it's a tough play, but you'd like to see Bonifacio make it, so he's charged with an error.
So Forsythe there at third, Guzman across the diamond at first. Miami with a 2-0 lead. Infield up the middle is back for 2. And here is Headley, who was bounced out, flied out.
I think right now, as you see Zambrano working this inning, he has to concern himself with a runner at first, the hitter, and not worry too much about Forsythe, the runner at third.
Now you see Zambrano, and we saw it a lot his last start and starts before that. You see him fiddling with the release point and the wrist and the hand.
Boy, we saw him doing that a lot in Pittsburgh.
Two and one, Ozzie Guillen, Joey Cora, Randy St. Clair.
Good numbers in his career against the Padres.
And Zambrano zips that one by him, evens the count, 2-2. Time called. Headley steps out. Two. And it's away. Now Zambrano very demonstrative in front of the mound. 3-2. The Marlins were cruising. And you can see the scatter shot Fox Tracks at bat here with Chase Headley. A 3-2 pitch coming from Zambrano. And he walked him. The bags are loaded. And so this is all primed for a big inning for the Padres. Bases loaded. You've got Carlos Quentin, the cleanup hitter, coming up.
And then you have Grandal and Alonso. So three really good hitters coming up. It almost looks, and you get the feeling in that situation that Zambrano, as you said, was trying to get a feel, was trying to guide the ball, trying to feel a pitch to get it in the strike zone instead of just throwing the ball away he did early. Let the ball move and get some swings and misses, throw some strikes.
Quentin has walked and popped out. Now Solano is backed up at third. So the Marlin infield will go for two if they can get a ground ball. But Zambrano first has to throw strikes. And he misses in to Quentin. When the walks come for Zambrano, they have come in bunches.
And he's got the guy on the Padre roster who has the most power.
Zambrano walked a couple in a row in the fourth. He's walked Headley and fallen behind 2-0 to Quentin. A double by Forsythe. The error on Bonifacio. Only Edinson Volquez, who is in the building tonight, has walked more in the National League. The Marlins will miss Volquez. He'll pitch on Monday. Ross Ohlendorf tomorrow. Clayton Richard on Sunday. And Zambrano is 3-0 now on Carlos Quentin.
And right now, if you're Ozzie, you hope Chad Godin can get it ready quickly because you don't want to let Zambrano continue, because clearly, unless he comes back somehow from 3-0 and gets Quentin might have the green light, by the way. Unless he comes back, he clearly's lost it here, and you don't want to let the game get out of hand.
He did have the green light. So it's 3-1. Big moment in the ball game right here. And Zambrano gets another strike. It's 3-2.
That's an example of how well his ball moves. when he's throwing pitches 3-0 and 3-1, that Quentin knows he's getting fastballs. And hasn't had great cuts the last 2 fastballs.
See if he gets the same pitch, 3-2. Nobody out, bags loaded. Oh, goodness. Wow. Quentin trots down to first. The Padres have a run, and that thing just missed. Let's see it on Fox Tracks.
I'm saying on Fox Tracks it's a strike. Yeah, it was.
It is a strike.
Number 6. See, we've gotten a pretty good read on Fox Tracks. It took the glove down a little bit, but crossed the plate as a strike.
Liner to center. Ruggiano, it's over his head, and it's going to the wall, and everyone's off to the races. Guzman scores. Headley scores. Quentin scores. And just like that, the Padres have a 4-2 lead. Yasmani Grandal over the head of Justin Ruggiano and into the deepest, darkest part of Marlins Park. That triangle out in deep center field.
Boy, this ball really took off. It fooled Ruggiano. Not so sure even if he plays it well, if he makes a catch, but he got fooled on it. Ball jumped off the bat of Grandal, clearing the bases, and just a huge base hit for the kid out of Miami. And that's all for Zambrano.
Zambrano leaves. Godin arrives, and this game has changed dramatically. In Marlins Park, in shock right now that the Padres have a 4-2 lead in a game in which Carlos Zambrano was cruising. The Marlins had a 2-0 lead. And how quickly it all goes sideways on you.
I mean, he looked like he had it all together for a complete game, at least a 7-8 inning outing. Now the ball's turned over to Chad Godin, who really his last 2 outings have been terrific for Godin. 3 2/3 innings in Pittsburgh. Didn't give up anything, gave up just 1 base hit, and then the other night against the Braves, an inning and a third. So his last couple of outings have really come at a time when the Marlins needed him to pitch well out of the bullpen.
Now the Marlins infield is halfway with Alonso at the plate and Grandal at third. And that one's fouled back and out of play. Yonder Alonso has bounced to second and lined out. Pair of extra base hits, the error by Bonifacio, and 2 Zambrano walks has added up to 4 runs for the Padres. Alonso has hit a cold spell. You can see an 0 for 21. One and two. Line into left field. That's a base hit. And so Alonso snaps an 0 for 21 with a run scoring single to left. And 5 have scored in the inning. A big inning for the Padres. This week on Fox Saturday Baseball, Red Sox and Yankees. Fox Saturday Baseball, presented by Budweiser, begins 3:30 Eastern, 2:30 Central only on Fox. Red Sox and Yankees opening their series tonight. Yankees have a 6-3 lead in the bottom of the 6th at Yankee Stadium. Maben drives one to right. Long run. Peterson makes the catch on the track. Alonso has to trot back to first. And that is the very first out of this 6th inning, which has to feel like an enormous inning to both managers. Enormous for Bud Black.
And you see the reaction of Ozzie Guillen.
Enormous for Bud Black because the Padres haven't been scoring many runs. And enormous to Ozzie Guillen for the same reason. The Marlins haven't been scoring either.
Well, he knows with his club down 5-2, so his team down 3 runs, how difficult it's been for them to score and how difficult overcoming a 3-run deficit is.
In the big picture of this game as well, for the first 5 innings, you're saying to yourself, now this is the Carlos Zambrano that Miami saw in the month of April. And then it all falls apart in the 6th inning. And with Jacob Turner, newly acquired from the Tigers, down in AAA to make what we were told is just a couple of starts.
You would have to wonder, because I mentioned it a couple of innings ago, you would have to wonder with double headers coming up if perhaps we would see Turner at that time. You don't know, though.
Well, the doubleheaders are spaced out such that still, if you brought him up to pitch in that doubleheader, he might stay in the rotation if Zambrano continues to struggle. You know, the other thought is this. There are probably a lot of scouts at the ball game tonight and watching Zambrano pitch, because if they're looking for a veteran starter and Zambrano gets hot, maybe a contending team would take a flyer on Zambrano. Cabrera doubled back in the 3rd. Alonso still at first. Toyota trend. With July, the Padres are looking for their first winning month since August of 2010.
Of course, 2010, you mentioned Bud Black, Manager of the Year. The Padres won 90 games.
And they didn't go to the postseason that year. They were 2 games behind the Giants.
giving this year's extra wild card berth, I wonder how that would have fared for the Padres that year.
Cabrera fouls it back. It counts 2-2. 5 runs in this 6th inning for San Diego. Two breaking ball misses outside. Count full at 3-2. Braves 2-1 lead extends into the bottom of the 5th in Atlanta over the Phillies. Nationals and Brewers are still scoreless in the 3rd.
That's another Ben Sheets start for Atlanta.
He's beating Cole Hamels right now. That's another base hit for San Diego. Cabrera to center, and up comes Kip Wells with 1 out, runners 1st and 2nd. In all likelihood, he'll try to bunt him up, though he does swing the bat well for a pitcher.
Yeah, he can give you a couple of different looks. So he's not the type of pitcher that you're saying, okay, 100% he's going to bunt.
An Adam Jones 3-run homer with 2 outs in the 5th has put Baltimore on top of Oakland 6-5. The A's were off to a 5-2 lead in that ballgame. It's 6-5 now in the 6th in Baltimore, with the Orioles leading the Athletics. Alonso at second. Cabrera, great speed at first. See what Wells is doing. He squares, hops up the bunt. Godin makes the catch. And so the 10th man to come to the plate, the guy that led it off for the double, Logan Forsythe, is up. Aerial coverage tonight provided by Goodyear. Everything that Goodyear has learned making tires that go the distance inspires what they roll into yours. Goodyear, more driven. Live shot of Marlins Park as night has descended upon South Florida. Marlins, as Tommy pointed out, didn't see a lot of Logan Forsythe in that series in San Diego.
Yeah, he was on the disabled list, fractured a bone in his left foot. University of Arkansas product.
Throw behind the runner. Counts 2-0.
Well, you just feel the air taken out of the fans that are here.
This was a crisply well played game. And the Marlins had a 2-0 lead. Zambrano was zipping along, and all of that has come to a screeching halt. Leaving Ozzie Guillen muttering to himself right now. Three and one. Godin gets another strike.
Well, everybody will be on the move. 3-2, 2 outs.
Forsythe waits, runners on the move, and it's fouled off and out of play.
You know, we've been keeping our eye. We talked about it when we were in Pittsburgh to see what moves they made. They made the deal and acquired Wandy Rodriguez. And then they also brought up the youngster Starling Marte, who homered in his first at bat, first pitch he saw. Kind of read about him. There was a nice article about him in the paper when we were in Pittsburgh.
3-2. It's up and in. And the bags, they are loaded again. Randy St. Clair on his way out to the mound. The poll question tonight, brought to you by All My Sons Moving. San Diego has struggled, so who will win the West? Dodgers have received 100% of the votes so far. M1, M2, M3.
Right now, the
Giants.
Yeah, the Giants are in first place by 3 games.
You know, the Cardinals and the Cubs played a game today in which the Cardinals beat the Cubs 9-6. And the Cardinals did something that no team has done in the last 8 years. They hit a home run in each of the first 5 innings.
I believe they hit them all off Travis Wood, too.
It was in Chicago. Apparently the flags were blowing in, but the ball was still carrying. And Godin misses up to Guzman.
Anthony Rizzo had a nice day for the Cubs. He hit one out. Got a base hit at 3 RBIs.
A strike. If the Pirates can get a spark offensively out of Marte, and it's tough to depend on a rookie to do that down the stretch, but that would be a real help for them as they're in search of a bat and in search of some pop before the trading deadline.
They got another nice outing last night in that game that the youngster homered in from A.J. Burnett.
See the Pirates at 56-42.
A.J. Burnett 12-3 now.
Cardinals are 54-46. Atlanta is 54-44. And so you've got Pittsburgh right now with the #1 wild card spot. And you've got Atlanta in the #2 wild card position.
Jack Godin not quite as sharp as we saw him the last couple of outings. And missed by much, though.
Well, now he's gone 3-1. There's nobody throwing in Miami's bullpen. It's a 5-2 inning that seems like it's lasted 2 hours.
And he's missed with 2 breaking balls, so you know he has to throw a fastball. And Jesus Guzman knows the same thing. I'll tell you, those last 2 pitches, though, could have gone the other way.
That one is out of play. Marlins bullpen is up. Looks like Wade LeBlanc.
You know, it's so interesting with the trade of Hanley to the Dodgers. Hardly anyone speaks of Randy Choate going to the Dodgers in that deal.
Well, Choate's a really nice piece to have, and if you're a contending team, it's a necessity that you have one of those lefty specialists. Fastball struck him out. Inning over and a long one to endure for Miami. San Diego with 5 runs in the top of the 6th. The Padres lead it 5-2. Let's check in with Craig Minervini. Craig?
Rich, we've seen a lot of guys from the 305 have very good debuts here. J.D. Martinez of Houston had a home run earlier this year. We saw Gio Gonzalez have a good game to get a win. Last year, Yonder Alonso, then with the Reds, and here Yasmani Grandal, all guys from Miami. And these two guys share more in common than just a good first game ever when they played in their hometown. It is really almost amazing how their lives have intertwined a few years apart. Both were born in Cuba. Both came in around the age of 10 to South Florida and settled with their families. Both were high school stars down here. In fact, Alonso went to Coral Gables, where Mike Lowell went and set records in a single season. He hit .530, knocked in 33 RBIs, walked 33 times. Those are all records. They both went to Miami. They managed to play one season together in 2008. They both went down to the wire to sign with the Reds, first-round picks. One was 7th, one was 12th. Went down to August 15th in one case, August 16th in the other. And isn't it crazy? They both wound up in the trade. A very good trade, by the way, for both teams. Matt Latos to the Reds, Edinson Volquez, and then these two guys, among others, came here to San Diego in the winter. So it's an amazing connection. We're going to talk to them. Hopefully, maybe on Sunday we'll have it for you at Marlins Live. Get both of them together.
That'd be a good chat, and I'm sure a lot of stories. And as I noted, when they walked out of the clubhouse and onto the field and just looked around at Marlins Park, something they, I'm sure, never thought they would see when they were in high school.
But I'm sure something they heard a lot about, too, over the years. I think it's a heck of a deal with the San Diego Padres. Yes, they got rid of a top-notch, as the term goes, top of the rotation pitcher in Matt Latos. But they have three really nice pieces. They have an everyday catcher, a first baseman, and a solid starter in Edinson Volquez.
Ruggiano with the count at 3-2 now. Cameron Maben sets up under that one and makes the catch. It's the 6th inning. Coors Light brings you the freeze cam. Cameron Maben. Now, we could probably spend the next 10 minutes showing you Cameron Maben highlights of diving catches against the Marlins. Coors Light freeze cam brought to you by Frost Brewed Coors Light.
Well, he did one series at Sun Life. He did a little bit of everything.
Even the series in San Diego, he continued to play well and make great defensive catches. Morrison with the 0-1 pitch coming. Now Dan Jennings has joined LeBlanc. Kip Wells is in line to win this ball game. It would be just his second win of the season.
And we talked about his record over the years. He comes into this game 68 wins, 102 losses at the major league level.
Back foot breaking ball that counts 2-2. But that Oakland-Baltimore game is a wild one. Oakland has gone back on top 8-6. That's top of the 6th inning. Oakland is 53-45. Baltimore is 5 over. Two surprise teams in the American League. Forsythe fires to first. 2 outs. JM Lexus presents the game reset. If the Marlins could hit the reset button, it would go back to the bottom of the 5th when they had a 2-0 lead. That's when life was good. But the Padres got 5 runs in the top of the 6th. Some key hits in that one and some key walks in that one. Chase Headley, Carlos Quentin drawing the walks. Quentin's with the bases loaded. Yasmani Grandal with a bases loaded triple, driving in 3. Yonder Alonso with an RBI single. Wells is one of those guys that if he didn't have to throw a strike, he's not going to throw a strike.
He's not going to, no. If you're going to swing at pitches or chase pitches off the plate a little bit, he'll stay off the plate.
There's a 90-mile-an-hour fastball for a strike.
His last start was against the Rockies. Went just 4 2/3, gave up 6 runs, 8 hits and 6 runs.
And Peterson is caught looking, and that ends the 6th inning. 5-2 San Diego. At downtown Miami. 5-2. Hope Brett Musburger is having a good offseason up in Palm Beach. Take a look at the cold hard facts. Brought to you by Coors Light. 31 stolen bases in July for the Marlins. A team that can run, but they cannot score.
Brett Musburger might be teeing it up at the Loxahatchee Club. Perhaps.
Oh, is that's the hangout up there, huh? Dan Jennings for the Fish. Miami a 2-0 lead for most of the night until the Padres overwhelmed them in the 6th. And Jennings gets Chase Headley, Carlos Quentin, and Yasmani Grandal.
Well, we were talking earlier, Rich, about players, what they need to do for motivation. Well, this is certainly an opportunity for Dan Jennings to prove that he can stay at this level, pitch successfully, be a left-hander, good left-hander out of the bullpen.
You know, there's also a lot for us to prove in the next 2 months.
I think so, yeah.
One.
What would that be, Rich?
Well, it's proved that we can continue to have strong year wardrobe-wise. We've really upgraded this year.
I
with
think so, yeah.
New ballpark, a lot more coat and tie nights.
I think we've put together some real nice combos. Dan Jennings the other day against the Braves did a real nice job, inning in 2/3 out of the bullpen.
Rumors that Fox Sports Florida has been shopping Tommy Hutton around, unfounded. Though you do read that in the trades and online, Twitter. There was that rumor that you were possibly headed to Cincinnati for Chris Welsh and Rosie Red.
Prospects.
Rosie Red is a prospect, my friend. Here's Carlos Quentin.
But that deal had to be approved by Tom Brenneman.
I think we have to prove to ourselves that we can amuse ourselves here. And this last inning has been a real challenge.
I think we can send out the challenge to our fans, too, especially to try to help us out and pick us up on email and Twitter Tuesday.
They do, for the most part.
Yeah, next one coming in Atlanta. We'll be in Atlanta. Cotton candy always helps us.
A little camera 12 wouldn't hurt. Here's the 0-1. Liner to short. And Reyes will hold on to it. So Quentin lines out. Here comes Grandal. Tomorrow night, it's Marlins and Padres Part 2. 7:10 start if you come early for a pregame party on the West Plaza. Celebrate Venezuelan Heritage Night presented by the 50 miles per gallon Toyota Prius. After the game, stay in your seats for a fireworks spectacular. Marlins.com for tickets. So a fireworks show. Jennings over to first. Grandal's triple.
That's the first time we get to see Grandal from the right side.
Yeah. Triple was on the left side over the head of Justin Ruggiano. Dale Thayer in the bullpen. The Padres have new owners, or at least they're about to have new owners. Tapper kicks off of Solano's glove, rolls into left field. Headley turns second and ends up at third. Solano moving to his left. A lot of things happening as that ball came towards him. I'm sure he was thinking, let's start this 5-4-3 double play.
Yeah, in order to start the double play, though, he's got to come in on it a little bit to avoid that tricky hop. By taking the route that he took, then he got that in-between top spin hop. He's charged with an error. And on the error, Headley went over to third.
It's the second error by a Miami infielder, and the first one was a key one. That was early in that sixth inning. It was on Bonifacio, and the Padres ended up scoring 5 runs, the last of which came home on this guy's base hit, Yonder Alonso, and that snapped an 0-for-21 skid. Pulls a ground ball foul, though Carlos Lee was ready to fire home after stepping on the bag. the O'Malley family back in the baseball business, it sounds like.
Yeah, it really it has an interesting ring to it because for so many years, O'Malley's involved with the Dodgers, and you would have to think that with their name attached to ownership, that has to be a good thing in San Diego.
Ball and a strike.
I think Peter O'Malley will have a little bit to do, but I think it's even more his family, his sons, that'll be involved.
That ground ball is going to find right field, and San Diego's lead is now 6-2.
Another RBI base hit for Alonso, so the kids from Miami doing a lot of damage tonight.
Both kids from Miami doing a lot of damage. Grandal, the 3-run triple. Alonso, a pair of RBI singles. And Randy St. Clair makes his appointed round at the mound.
Another former Padre up again, Wade LeBlanc. Did you see the you were talking earlier about some of the young pitching. The young pitcher who made his debut with the Mets last night, Matt Harvey. 5+ innings, had 11 strikeouts.
It was a much anticipated debut for the Mets.
Mets beat the Arizona Diamondbacks 3-1.
Marlins will probably see him in a week and a half. Now Maben, runners first and second, and Cameron takes down low. For Maben, a sore wrist, as we've talked about, but hitting just .219. He has stolen 20 bases, but obviously the Padres would like to see him get on base more. Cranks that one to left field. Morrison won't get it. Off the wall it goes. Maben on his way to second with an RBI double. And coming across to score is Grandal. And right now the Padres are roughing up the Marlins.
And in particular, Dan Jennings here in this inning. Fastball right there, and Maben just turned on it. That ball got over the head of Logan Morrison in a hurry.
Marlins are going to make a double switch and a pitching change here. And San Diego continues their onslaught. They had 5 runs in the 6th. They've added 2 here in the 7th. It's a 7-2 game. And the Padres are on top. We have John Buck all mic'd up for your entertainment.
I'm wearing the contact for the first time.
There you are.
Because I finally got the right one. Like I started, like I'd wear it in the bullpen, I'd get to like the point, and I'd be like, no, take it out, because that just wasn't right. They told me, you gotta just get used to it. I was like, I'm more used to me not seeing than this.
Well, good to know that he's got the contact on tonight. Scott Cousins makes an appearance in a double switch, and Everett Cabrera fouls it back. Nice play by a fan. 7-2, San Diego on top. Not a lot to like about this night if you're a Marlin fan. Wade LeBlanc, third out of the pen.
Understand they've made a ruling, a change. That ball that was topped by Grandal off the glove of Solano has been ruled a base hit. Not so sure I agree with that one, but
breaking ball for a strike to Everett Cabrera. Double and a single and a fly ball out. And a 5-run San Diego lead, which feels like it's a 10-run lead right now. That one bounces to the screen. Runner comes home. Buck to the plate. LeBlanc the tag. They got him. Nice play.
hey, you take the outs any way you can get them. And it's a nice play all around from John Buck and also the pitcher for Wade LeBlanc. A lot of pitchers just have trouble fielding, and now watch, he has to just kind of backhand the tag. His back is to the runner. There's the tag. Good play. Good play all around.
Two and two. There's Maben now at third base. And LeBlanc trying to get out of the seventh. Misses away. But Ben Sheets is in line to go to what, 3-0?
Yeah, he's had some terrific outings. First 3 times out for the Braves. It's been a nice sign. Sure, Wade LeBlanc, and one of the tough things when you come back and pitch against the team that initially drafted you. He was a second-round pick by the Padres back in 2006. You know, now getting a chance to face them here, you try to overthrow a little bit, maybe do too much, and a pitcher who relies on touch and a good changeup, that gets him out of his rhythm. So now you're going to face the pinch hitter, Chris Denorfia.
And Denorfia hitting for Kip Wells. That means the Padres are going to go to their bullpen. With runners at the corners. The best in that bullpen is the closer, Houston Street, who was the only Padre All-Star this year. At this rate, the Padres won't need him. They've got a 5-run lead. But you never know. Bud Black after an off day may want to use him just to keep him sharp. And the Marlins have got 3 more times around to try to eat away at this 5-run lead. LeBlanc reaches back, gets it, flips to first in time. Another long inning. This one results in just 2 runs. 7th inning stretch. Brought to you by Supercuts. San Diego, and if the Marlins are going to get back in this, they got to do it against the bullpen of the Padres. Dale Thayer is the first of the Padres to arrive.
Well, Bud Black certainly has to be pleased at what he got from Kip Wells tonight. The offense gave him a lead. Wells was solid on the mound.
Bud Black has not been given a lot to work with.
No, he has.
Both last season and this season. And the fact that the Padres, if they win this game, are going to be 14-8 in July is a real credit to him.
Dale Thayer, one of those pitchers with that slinging type delivery. Good fastball and slider.
Billy Bob Thornton sling blade deal?
Yeah, sling blade.
It's come to that, hasn't it?
It's a good movie.
All right. Tell me, and without
looking.
Hold on. I was on Joe Thatcher, not Dale Thayer. I was going to ask her where Dale Thayer went to school. All right. Where did Dale Thayer go to school?
You talking about college?
Yeah, he went to college. It's a
what part of the country?
It's a party school.
UC Santa Barbara.
No, that's actually a reputable.
Arizona State.
That is a party school. But this one, they have an independent league team in town called the Outlaws. Swing and a miss. John Buck strikes out. Chico State. Santa Ana Junior College. There's out of Huntington Beach, California.
So a Southern California guy.
And he ended up in the North Central Valley.
Now that's where you have to go. If you go to Southern California, like if you come out to follow the Marlins and see them play the Dodgers, you got to spend time. You have to go to Santa Monica, go down to Newport Beach, Huntington Beach.
Scott Cousins rolls one into right field for a base hit. It's got to feel good for Cousins, who hasn't been getting a lot of at-bats lately. And he's hit the ball hard a few times. He Doesn't have anything to show for it, but he does here with a hit to right.
Yeah,
And
Cousins came in that double switch.
Top of the order, Bonifacio, Solano, and now Reyes.
And if you have an artistic side, you go a little further south to Laguna Beach, which has some great artists there.
It's all pops and buzzes to me.
That, by the way, base hit for Scott Cousins, broken 0 for 14. So good for Cuz.
Bonifacio swings and misses. And Thayer's out in front 0-2. And Ben Sheets went 6 innings, 6 hits, and 1 run. Atlanta leads the Phillies 6-1 in the top of the 7th.
I think that's the first run he's given up in his 3 starts with the Braves.
Cole Hamels, 5 innings, 4 hits, 5 runs. Hamels walked 6 and struck out 7. Quentin is out there and he makes the catch.
Not a typical Cole Hamels type effort.
No, he gave up a 3-run homer to Brian McCann. Lefty on lefty.
Of course, the Marlins have tagged Hamels with a couple of losses this year.
Now Solano, 2 outs. And there misses inside. Yankees are clobbering Boston 10-3 in the Bronx. Milwaukee has scored first against Washington and has a 2-0 lead in the bottom of the 5th. It's a Ross Detweiler start. Marlins will see virtually the entire national rotation. Same with the Braves. Because of the rain out, the Marlins will have back-to-back 4-game series with Washington after they get the 4-game series with Atlanta. And on the next road trip, it's always nice to see the ring girl. On the next road trip after that, there's some 4-game series stacked up with Colorado and Arizona.
Yeah, 4 games in Denver, and then the 3 days in Arizona with that split doubleheader on the 3rd day.
Solano trying to stay alive. The count's 1-2. This was a 2-0 Miami lead for the good part of this ball game. In more ways than one, if you're a Marlin fan, that was the good part of the ball game. Until the 6th, when the Padres got 5 runs. Carlos Zambrano who was outstanding for the first 5 innings, all of a sudden couldn't throw a strike, gave up some big hits, didn't get some help from his defense. Fly ball right field, pretty well hit and caught out there by Guzman right at the track. Miami leaves a runner to the 8th, 7-2. Goodyear has learned making tires that go the distance inspires what they roll into yours. Goodyear, more driven. Rich Waltz, Tommy Hutton, Craig Minervini. Honda, 8th inning, 7-2, San Diego. Marlins with 23,161 here on a Friday night to face the Padres. The Fish at 45-53 right now. The Padres at 42-58, but if the Marlins don't shape up quickly, the Padres in a couple of weeks could have a better record. The Marlins are 8-13 in July, while the Padres are 13-8, and you saw that graphic. The last winning month that the Padres had as a ball club was August of 2010.
It's kind of crazy when you play a team twice, once in their ballpark and once in yours, and you play them so far apart, you see different ball clubs. And that's exactly what the Marlins and the Padres are seeing. The Padres are seeing a different Marlins club. The Marlins swept that series in San Diego, and the Marlins are seeing a much improved Padre club.
Yeah, that was the beginning of that run in May. The Marlins had swept the Giants. They went in and swept the Padres. They took 2 of 3 from Houston. Forsythe hits a high fly ball to left, and Morrison sets up under it and makes the catch.
And then the crazy part about this game, last year, the Marlins were 0-7 against the Padres.
That was really strange because the Padres weren't very good, nor were the Marlins. Padres were 71-91. Marlins just a game better at 72-90. Guzman goes after the first pitch again, and he pops it into shallow right. Cousins is on, and he makes the catch. Boyd LeBlanc with a couple of outs. News around baseball, in case you missed it, Zach Greinke is now an Angel. Brewers dealing him.
Of course, the interesting series, Rich, will be when the Marlins return from this upcoming road trip, Atlanta, Washington, and New York. When they return, they play a weekend series against the Los Angeles Dodgers.
And Marlins haven't played the Dodgers yet, so 2 series against the Dodgers. They'll see Randy Choate. And who was the other guy in that trade?
Ramirez. So Hanley will be back in town.
Does he play third or short?
Ah, it's interesting. There was a lot of speculation. A lot of people thought, well, he'd play short, but he's played third the first 2 games. They expect to get their young shortstop, D. Gordon, back in a couple weeks. He's on the disabled list right now. But for the time being, I think from what I've read, Hanley and Don Mattingly talked about the position, and I think Hanley kind of felt comfortable playing third.
Chase Headley fouls that pitch off. Full count, 3-2. Headley has walked twice. Inside corner, LeBlanc goes 1-2-3 through the Padres in the 8th. Miami down by 5. Miami has not recovered from that 5-run sixth by San Diego. Brad Brock in for the Padres. In the 8th, Marlins will have Jose Reyes, Carlos Lee, Justin Ruggiano, and if anybody gets on, Logan Morrison. A difficult time scoring runs. As Tommy pointed out early in the telecast, the Marlins have had that over the last 8 ball games. And it has continued here tonight against journeyman Kip Wells, an inning of Dale Thayer, and now Brad Brock.
Well, the Marlins, if they don't rally in this one, will go to 1-8 in their last 9 games. And if they don't score any more runs, they will have scored 15 runs in those 9 games.
Three and 0. And a strike to Reyes.
Will Venable snuck in this game, Rich, in right field.
Stealth move by the veteran outfielder. And Venable will be challenged here. And he's up to it.
And that's why, a good partner always lets his partner know exactly when those changes are made. So you were able to include that in your play-by-play that Venable had snuck in the game.
Had I not, I would have said, man, Guzman looks a lot like Venable. All right, on Marlins Live, they're not on set right now because they're rehearsing. But Craig Minervini and Jeff Conine will reenact the torch lighting from the opening ceremonies in the Olympics. That's coming up on the postgame. Venable, the combo guard out of Princeton, picks it off the grass. A base hit for Lee. And so that's, they've already been rehearsing for well over 2 hours. You got to get that. You only get one chance to light the torch, Tommy, and Craig and Niner will do that.
Are they rehearsing or are they in makeup?
A lot of that is commingled, It's choreography. It's Ruggiano. Marlins have hit 2 balls hard against Brock. Ruggiano takes a strike. Over 3 is Ruggiano. One, two coming. It's a 5-run deficit. And Brock throws it by Ruggiano. 92-mile-an-hour fastball. So he's got a couple outs. Here comes Morrison. We give our best good luck wishes to Misty May Trainer. And she's back on the Olympic scene. We'll see Matt Trainer with those Dodgers. She and her partner Kerry Walsh will be going after gold medal number 3, I want to say.
I believe you're right.
No baseball, no softball in the Olympics.
They have women's boxing, though. I saw a report on that today. I said, you got to be kidding me. Women's boxing, and then there are some other things that aren't in the Olympics. Of course, I think the World Baseball Classic has kind of overshadowed baseball in the Olympics. You think? A little bit. Couldn't really have both.
Well, the nice thing about the World Baseball Classic, which is coming to a Marlins Park near you,
yes, it is,
next March, the second round. The best part about the World Baseball Classic is all the best players in the world can play in it. While in the Olympics, you're relegated, at least from USA and Canada, Puerto Rico, and the Dominican, to guys that are not in the big leagues because they can't take that 3 weeks off and just say, see ya. Morrison strikes out. It's still 7-2. Look, the Miami connection has not been good to the Marlins tonight. Yasmani Grandal, Yonder Alonso. That's Alonso's RBI single in the 6th. You saw Grandal's 3-run triple. In the 7th, Alonso adds another RBI hit. Combined, they've driven in 5 of San Diego's 7 runs. This has to be an odd moment, doesn't it, for both Heath Bell and for the Padres to see a guy that was, for the past 3 seasons, an all-star closer.
Over 40 saves.
Come in with an ERA just under 6 in a 7-2 game in which the Marlins are trailing.
You know, last 5 outings for Heath Bell, though, an inning each of those outings, he's given up just a couple of hits and no runs. He's had much better command.
Carlos Quentin really hasn't had to do a whole lot from the cleanup spot. He's walked twice. One of those walks came with the bases loaded.
You and I had a nice conversation before the game in the Padres dugout with Bud Black. And he was talking about Heath Bell and how devastating when he was on his game, how he could throw that breaking ball, that big curveball, anytime he wanted for a strike.
Well, Bud Black would know. I mean, Black, an accomplished major league pitcher himself, pitched on a world championship team, the '85 Royals. Spent 15 years in the big leagues, and then 7 years as the Angels pitching coach, including their world championship in 2002. Quentin fouls a breaking ball back.
You win 121 games in the major leagues and have an ERA in the 3s. You've had a nice career. And then Bud Black has just extended it in his coaching and now managing.
Cishek in the bullpen. Not many pitchers or ex-pitchers are managers in the big leagues. It's always the catchers that end up as managers. John Farrell with the Blue Jays. Bud Black with the Padres. To center. Ruggiano's back and he makes the catch. What pitching coach is out there? I know Brian Price in Cincinnati is a guy that is always highly thought of and is actually interviewed on a couple of occasions for managing jobs. Our producer John Solser just made a good call. Mike Maddox in Texas. I think that's
kind
a good
of a catch-22 with some of those guys. They get such a great reputation in handling pitchers that it's hard to separate that and become a manager, and now you got to handle everybody. But there have been some good former pitchers, managers over the years. Roger Craig, Tommy Lasorda was a pitcher.
Bavacqua, if I had to face a guy like Bavacqua, I'd send a bleeping limousine to the hotel to make sure he showed up at the game on time. Kurt Bavacqua.
Well, which is appropriate because Bavacqua had his best years as a Padre. I think he said Bavacqua couldn't hit water if he fell out of a boat.
Yes. It was not as profane as his Dave Kingman rant. What do I think about Kingman?
Who had just homered 3 times and I believe driven in 8 runs against the Dodgers, and a reporter stuck a microphone in Lasorda's face and said, "What did you think of Kingman's performance?" And YouTube will get you all that information.
Center field Ruggiano is there, and he makes the catch.
And it's always worth a few laughs.
That's why you really have to hand it to a guy like Darren Balsley, who is a very good pitching coach for the Padres, because you're working under a pitching coach.
Well, I heard that same conversation concerning hitting coaches, and I'll have to continue the thought next inning.
Ruggiano makes the catch, and Heath Bell looks sharp. A 1-2-3 ninth. Forward is brought to you by AT&T, the nation's largest 4G network. AT&T, rethink possible. By Checkers, feast on. By Infiniti, luxury cars that deliver inspired performance. Well, if the Marlins need any inspiration, they just have to look at the scoreboard right now. 7-2.
To get back to my thought before I lose my train of thought, talking about pitching coaches working under a manager who's been an outstanding pitching coach and pitcher in his career. I heard that conversation concerning the Dodgers and their hitting coach. Hitting coach with the Dodgers is Dave Hansen. Yet Don Mattingly was a hitting coach with the Yankees and a tremendous hitter in his own right. And they also have a third base coach who at one time was a hitting coach in the big leagues, Tim Wallach. So the conversation came up because they were talking about Hanley Ramirez and his move to L.A. and who may work with him.
There's been a Donnie Murphy sighting as he's been called up for the Marlins, and Murphy rolls one out to second, where Logan Forsythe has played well tonight. So Murphy gets the first at bat of the ninth, and Miami's down to the last 2 outs.
You know, to Donnie Murphy's credit, he went down and put up some really good numbers in AAA. So let's see, we can go over that Angels rotation. We're talking about it with their acquisition of Zach Greinke, C.J. Wilson, Jared Weaver, Dan Herron,
Irvin Santana, and Zach Greinke. That's pretty good.
That's a pretty good rotation, yes.
Segura had put up some really nice minor league numbers this year.
He's the key, I believe, in that deal.
I love how you're able to Photoshop any hat and any uniform on any player. How does that work down in the truck? Do we have just like a... Before the season starts, the crack staff takes a photograph of every player with every hat and jersey combination, just in case.
Can you just see that photo session?
Yeah.
No, we haven't got you with the Kansas City hat yet. Hold it.
I'm not going to Kansas City. I'm not going back to Kansas City, Zach Greinke said. Shoot me in an Angels or a Rangers. Maybe that was the holdup with the whole Dempster deal. He had not posed for the Braves photo yet. Buck strikes out. And it's down to Scott Cousins. Brad Brock trying to finish, and Miami's plunge continuing tonight against a San Diego team that walked into this building 16 games under 500. And a strike to Cousins.
And in a game that looked like after the first 4 innings was smooth sailing.
You know, when the Marlins were in contention and it started to slip away, you wondered when Ozzie was going to go off, and you heard about players only meeting and stuff like that. The Marlins look like they could use a real big jolt of something right now. Whether it comes from the manager, whether it comes from within. Cousins drives that ball into right center field, and it's caught out there by Venable, and the Marlins go down meekly to the Padres. 7-2 is the final, and that opens this weekend series with a thud as San Diego beats the Marlins. 7 runs, 8 hits for the Padres, 2 runs, 7 hits for Miami. And a pair of Miami guys had big ball games, Yonder Alonso and Yasmani Grandal. And this was Grandal's 3-run triple. Warren Henry's drive of the game over Justin Ruggiano's head, and they all came home to score. That's the Warren Henry drive of the game. And the Padres walk out of here a winner. Marlins Live, the postgame edition, brought to you by Checkers. is coming up.